second?
When he goes upstairs, he said, I will be 2 minutes. But he comes after 5. That is because both of them, in a way, want to enlarge the territory that they have together, because they feel that the friend, who is a stranger, is actually taking a territory of their relationship. And they want to enlarge the territory of their relationship. And he feels suddenly neglected. He doesn't know why, because okay, it was 2 minutes, he forgot something else, or he asked us something 5 minutes. He's not aware of it. And this is an undercurrent in the relationship. The territorial fight between people is a very massive one. Everyone fights for territory. No one has enough. And the weakest people are the one which most territory is being robbed of.
Okay.
And it's done by looks, it's done by interrupting a person in the middle of the sentence, by not giving him feedback. This is a strange thing, but if a person says something exciting, and instead of getting the degree of the excitement that he feels what he said deserves, he gets it 50% less, the less 50% actually munches his territory. And he shrinks because he doesn't get the space by the response that he deserves.
Okay.
And it goes on all the time. And usually it's totally unaware. And then one day we feel upset. One day this guest suddenly has an argument with his friend, and he packs his things and leaves. Now he thinks it's the argument. It's not the argument at all. This was only about a present that he promised to buy and he forgot. If the relationship will be okay, there will be no problem. But for many, many days there was something eroding. There was a tension. When the wife was greeting him hello, she was doing it with a plastic smile. So most of the relationship between people is an iceberg, which is 19% under the ground, and only the nuances of body language show it. And there is one common denominator basically to this iceberg.
One
common denominator to this iceberg, and that is personal interest, personal involvement, identifying with one's happiness and seeing others as enemies which are going to interfere with one's happiness. Not having an objective view to see what it is for what it is, but being too much afraid for one's happiness.
To lose it.
Yes. Everyone is too identified with his happiness. And much of what he does is because he thinks that what he will do will preserve his happiness and will disturb others, disturbing it.
Okay. And that leads to both of the extremes. Happiness, and on the other side,
sadness, suffering.
Sadness, suffering. And in between, that's the picture you draw about our life.
Well, people basically want to be happy all the time, and they want to escape from sadness. And a lot of what they do on the surface is actually moved by the motivation not to be sad and to be happy. But basically, the more you go towards happy, the more there are forces that throw you towards being sad and suffering. And both of them are traps. Because as long as a person is moved and preoccupied, whether I'm happy or not happy, he misses life. Because he's either trapped here, being happy is afraid that he's going to suffer, being suffer, he cries and he wants to be happy. Life actually begins at the level above happiness and suffering, in the level of observation, in the level of happening. Only when a person goes out of himself, out of identifying with his own personal emotional interests, out of him being the center of the world, and actually seeing the world without him being in it, they can start experience life as a powerful, moving thing. As long as he's going to be the center of life, and he is going to be in the prison of his ego, governed by the prisoners of happiness and suffering, he is not alive. To be alive is to get out of the emotional prison and to be detached from what is happening. Unless you have distance between you and what happens doesn't happen to you. You are outside of what is happening. You need a distance between you and what is happening, in which actually something will happen.
Okay, that is quite amazing.
Yes, people actually think it's the opposite. They think they are not involved enough. They don't get lost in the situation. They don't have enough passion. People have over-passion. Their life is telenovela.
Telenovela.
It's a telenovela. Their life is telenovela. It needs to be a philosophical observation. Only when we are free of our slavery to our passions and emotions can we experience the great drama of life. We too much put ourselves in the picture